Welcome everyone. It's been a while since I've done a review, but I've got one in this video right here. Viewer discretion is advised, as there is some profanity laced throughout the video. Now without further ado, this is the book I'm going to review. Everything is Fucked, a book about hope by Mark Manson. A man who is also the author of a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. So in this book, Everything is Fucked, he lays out the premise that we as humanity need hope as a tool, as a weapon against something Mark Manson deems as the uncomfortable truth. And this is what it is. The fact that we're insignificant, of little importance, with inflated egos in this wide, expansive universe. Along with hope, humanity needs three things: control, or a sense of maintaining your destiny; values, something great, something higher, something important to aim for; and community, a group of individuals who can validate our values. So he uses these three things to jump into a few more chapters. In his discussion on control, he talks about how it's an illusion. Many of us think we're rational, logical human beings, but yet we can't marry the thinking part of our brain and the emotional parts of our brain together. He uses a case of a man named Elliot from a research project. Elliot himself was a very intelligent man. Everyone loved him. He did everything, seemed to do everything right. But then, all of a sudden, he stopped doing the right things. He became an alcoholic. He started doing all these things that were deemed bad and wrong. And when he was taken through a slew of psychologists, many of them said, hey, he's got the same intelligence. He's got the same rationality. There shouldn't be anything wrong. But then one man discovered that he was impacted in the emotional part of his brain. And that's why he had such a character change. He couldn't decide what was right or wrong. He couldn't decide what was important and not. He couldn't decide what was great to aim for. And so that control, right? That sense that we have everything figured out and that we can do everything without influence is false. Then, as far as values, he uses Isaac Newton, the author does, to illustrate the three laws of emotions, taking it off of his laws of physics, of course. The first law is, for every action, there's an equal and opposite emotional reaction. In other words, you make a move, someone does something to you, you want to attempt to equalize it. The second premise is, self-worth is equal to all of our emotions over time. So, many studies have been run to ask people, are you happy, are you not happy? And essentially, we maintain this level of homeostasis, as in, we're just mildly happy almost our entire life. And then the last premise is, we do not change unless we have an experience that counters our identities. We're so absorbed, so obsessed, so locked in with values and who we are as a person that we confirm, we grab things, we cling to things that we believe make us important. In fact, if any of these things are attacked, we feel like we as an organism are attacked. These things that we can't even physically touch seem to disrupt us if they're attacked. And so unless something counters your opinion, or happens to you outside of the known that you have, something from the unknown, then you remain unaffected. Then, as far as community, he goes into a little bit about how religions are formed and things of that sort. Then he basically discusses why, in a sense, hope fucks humanity, because we look towards the future for something better, but we ignore what is. We ignore what we're going through. We can't accept our fate, amor fati. is the Latin term, acceptance of fate. Now, some things that we don't accept. We don't accept pain. We don't accept suffering, even though those two ideas are critical to our development as people. To change, to grow, these factors are needed. The chapter before is called The Formula of Humanity, and Manson discusses a topic that Immanuel Kant, one of the great philosophers, expressed in his writings. The Formula of Humanity basically states that our fundamental moral duty is the preservation and growth of consciousness. Our maturity as each individual is of the utmost importance, which then leads to the fact that we as human beings should be treating ourselves as ends, not as means. We shouldn't look at someone and say, I'm going to do this for you, so you love me. I'm going to do this for you, so you make me happy. It shouldn't be transactional. It should just be a fundamental thing that they're a human being. They have a sense of consciousness. So treat them the way they need to be treated, because that's the right thing to do. So no means, only an end. And then, after discussing this pain and the suffering that we as human beings need, he goes into how we're in the feelings economy, how now we're so much more sensitive, we're not thick-skinned, we can't take jokes, things bother us even though economically speaking and materialistically speaking, we're living in the best time in all of human history. And so he says, Mark Manson says, of course, what is the solution? The next great religion, AI. Maybe human beings don't have to worry about it. Artificial intelligence, we might just go ahead and delegate all of our happiness, all of our hope to the AI. Maybe they can make us eternally happy. Maybe our consciousness will blend together and all problems will be solved. Of course, Mark Manson leaves a question mark at the end of the book, but he does a pretty thorough job of explaining why hope and all of our ideas about how we run things is kind of fucked. What do I think about it? Personally, amazing book, because we're always into this rah-rah-rah, whoop-de-doo, hoo-hoo-hoo, we can do it, which I know each of us needs that in a sense, but it's basically turning around and saying, look, there's a truth. There are some fundamental things we have. Yes, pain and suffering are essential. You could cover it up. You could change the language. Again, nothing wrong with that. But these are fundamental aspects of life. So I just liked how real the book was, and that he used profanity, and that he has an amazing sense of humor. If I was going to give 5 out of 5 flames, 5 out of 5 smiley faces, however you want to rate it on the emoji scale, 5 out of 5 most definitely. Is he right about everything? Probably not. But he knows that himself. You can tell throughout the book with his sense of humor that he's on a quest of discovery, a quest of discovering the truth. And whether you want to grow, whether you want to discover the truth, however you wish to evolve, you've got to be uncomfortable, willing to confront truth, and go through pain and suffering. So again, everything is fucked. Highly recommended. Any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to send them to me. Other than that, eternal gratitude for all of you, and I'll see all of you, beautiful viewers, on my next review.